What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cover 4 podcast, Week 13, Thanksgiving special edition. As always, my name is Colton. I'm joined by Cody, Nate, Zach. We have a fun episode in store. We're going to break down the entire Thanksgiving slate, as well as talk some headlines that are happening around the league. Last week, we take a look at the standings from last week. I went 11-2, had a really good week. One of the only two losses I had was my lock, the Niners, which kind of sucked. But that was obviously before the Purdy news, and they got dismantled. Everybody else had a pretty decent week as well. Nate and Cody 7-6. Zach continues to hit his locks at a high rate. Yeah, it was cooking last week. Overall standings now, Nate's still holding an 8-game edge. I retook my crown for the all-time leaderboard. Zach and Cody continue to trend upwards as well, especially Cody, who had a tough start.
I'm catching you all the time.
That's true, too. You got a battle over there.
Brutal, dude. Brutal year.
Well, parlays from the weekend that were big. Not going to say who hit them or anything.
This one's mine, actually. That's mine.
We got Gino and Saquon. Absolutely huge days. Very clutch. Gino didn't really have a huge day, but the Seahawks won, which was very clutch. Let's talk.
That was a game.
Yeah, it really was. 16-6. But Week 12 recap. I'm going to start with the Cowboys upsetting the Commanders 34-26. Cody, your thoughts about formerly your Dallas Cowboys. I know you're switched off, but what did you think about that game and the missed extra point and all of that?
I don't know. I think the game ended perfectly. It was just it was a good win. Cyber, obviously, he went on the IR. I'm assuming for that reason that he's missing extra points to tie the game. And then I honestly think that kick return at the end of the game shouldn't have happened, or the onside kick return, whatever. He should have just went down because it gave Jaden Daniels the chance to throw a Hail Mary.
That's what I said. Yeah,
like if I was Mike McCarthy, I would have put that guy on the stake, dude. Like you can't do that, man.
Dude, but how is Terry McLaurin scoring like a 70-yard touchdown?
Because he's Terry McLaurin and Dallas can't tackle.
I feel like I've never seen that ever.
They've had a hard time tackling all season.
In prevent coverage, like that's literally the one thing that can't happen.
Yeah, crazy.
Well, Jerry Jones came out and said that an extension is still on the table for Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan, so it doesn't.
Dude, that actually sucks for you because it gives you.
I'm not a fan. It doesn't suck for me. I'm done, so I'm all good. I'm a Bengals fan, so and actually I'm a Chiefs fan this week. So
right, Survivor Pool.
Yeah.
Cody's still alive in week 13.
You didn't take him against the Panthers?
No.
Imagine.
Who did you take for Survivor Pool?
I'm sharp as knife. I took the Lions.
All right. Chiefs surviving the Panthers. I really thought that was going to be more of a blowout. That was the other game I had wrong. I had Chiefs minus 10.5, but they survived. Bryce Young, though, looking pretty good.
He looks good.
Do you shift towards him being the answer? Probably not.
No.
But we'll see. At least
he's looking more.
He was good, but
Alabama self.
He's trending up. Exactly. He's trending upward. Daniel Jones, the big addition this week, if you can call it that, to the Minnesota Vikings.
I think it's I don't like it at all. I mean, Sam Darnold, he's like in this system. What's the play there? You're gonna just throw him in the playoffs? He's not gonna. He shouldn't.
He's gonna be a backup. I think.
I don't think he's gonna play. I
hope not. But it seems like they're adding him to try to do some.
He's probably a top 5 backup though.
Yeah. He's a good backup. I just hope they don't get too smart. I just hope the cock doesn't get too smart and he's like, I'm gonna throw Danny Dimes and do what the Steelers are doing.
With Justin Fields,
If Sam Darnold goes down though, I think that move gives them the best chance to win, because they want to win in the playoffs and they're 9-2. So if they have Daniel Jones
it makes sense
coming
for
in,
that reason. I just hope they don't start him over Darnold.
You think going into next year, would you rather have? Are you assuming they're just gonna go with JJ McCarthy?
He just got a second knee surgery, so I mean, I don't know what's going on.
You got to keep. I don't know if Darnold might chase money though somewhere else.
Nah.
Donald's not getting money from anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. He goes a team like the Jets even. The Jets are going to be in the quarterback.
I mean,
next
it should
year.
be obvious. He's a guy that's been in the league and he's been on bad teams and he's been bad on bad teams. So it's
now he's good on a good team.
Yeah. So he's not a good quarterback. I don't know.
I don't follow a similar.
Did you see what Doug Peterson said about him? The reason he's good is because of Justin Jefferson.
I mean, yeah, probably.
Justin Jefferson,
dude, and Hawkinson and Addison both had 100 yards.
Because they were just so focused on Jefferson. That team is full of
studs. You know what I mean?
No, that's why they're 9-2, bro. I don't know. Yeah, they were winning.
So
with Nick,
I would
Nick
not
Mullins.
say it's Sam Darnold. I'd say he's serviceable at best.
Speaking of studs, Saquon Barkley over 300 scrimmage yards. Is he now in the MVP conversation? I think it would be pretty crazy to see a running back win an MVP just because it doesn't happen anymore. But if you your vote right.
Giants, bro. Just says bums,
so
bro.
Funny.
Bunch of bums, dude.
Any decision that organization could made, they made it. If you could think the worst possible thing they could have done, if you look at 2 years back, when they gave Daniel Jones the money instead of Saquon, and then they franchised
one of the worst decisions in NFL history.
You can't, dude. It's so brutal. Joe Schoen, shame. Great shame.
Joe Schoen, shame.
Brutal.
Nah, but I will say though, if Barkley gets 2,000 yards, I think he has a serious shot of getting it though.
It depends what ends up happening in Buffalo. If Buffalo wins the division and then they're the first seed in the AFC, he'd have to get it probably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But if Eagles finish number 1 seed in the NFC,
no, exactly.
With that season,
And we'll just give it to Jalen Hurts.
You can tell who's the most valuable player on the Eagles right now. You
Yeah,
can tell.
absolutely.
So that'd be interesting.
Rookie of the year. That race is tightening up. Zach has been very
Definitely
vocal
Bo
about
Nix,
Bo
bro.
Nix. I would still say Daniels
Nix.
has a slight edge.
Brock Bowers too.
Brock Bowers, if he
Bowers.
gets
Yeah.
over one, like that's another name to keep in mind. But right now,
Bo
I'm still
Nix.
saying Jaden Daniels. But I know Zach, you are very high on Bo Nix.
He's just been hot, man. He's been hot. He's winning games and he's throwing touchdowns. And I don't know. I think he's been. I think he like Jaden Daniels got off to a great start. But I think it's very even. And I think they're kind of overrating
funny.
Daniels.
Bo Nix still
I
plus
agree
money.
with Zach. The Commanders are trending in the wrong direction right now. They're
It's
losing
four-
to
Yeah.
poverty teams.
Yeah.
Four straight losses, three straight
I
losses,
think it's
something
3.
like that.
But at one point they were 7-2, and now we're looking at 7-5, and it's
Yeah.
like holy, like, this team might not even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like genuinely. So like the Broncos looking like they will make the playoffs. They
Yeah.
look like
Yeah.
a good team. So maybe they can sneak in like a 6-7 seed. They're not going to beat the Chiefs, obviously.
Yeah,
for
no,
the
no.
AFC. But I mean,
But the Broncos almost beat the Chiefs already too. Like
Yeah,
Jaden
yeah.
Daniels has all this like losing records against like the stronger teams in the league.
every time they've played
It's
a team
been
above
team
500,
like
they've
under
lost.
lost.
500. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who they
And Bo
were.
Nix is trending in the right direction too.
And he's
Yeah.
beating good teams, and he's
Yeah.
having quality
No,
starts.
he's
So
solid.
Yeah.
Look
He
like
looks
the
good.
Falcons aren't bad. He crushed them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
4
No, he's
touchdowns. I
solid.
mean, the Falcons' defense isn't
Falcons
great.
are-
I feel like the
Falcons are
Falcons are
goofy.
poorly coached, though, in my opinion.
It's just a classic Kirk Cousins team.
Yeah.
Like it really is.
Zach knows it all too well.
No,
Most
true.
underwhelming team continues, I think, to be the Texans. I don't know if you guys saw that game a lot, but
Sophomore slump.
it's absolutely
For
incredible
CJ.
how the Texans, I think, had probably, I don't know, top 5 expectations from their like fan base after I mean, how could you not after last year with what CJ Stroud did? The defense, they still got after Levis. They sacked him like 8 times or something, 9 times.
And they lost.
And they lost. Will Levis even tried to throw the game away. And,
Yeah.
I still like Will Levis, but he makes some crazy plays that are just like very idiotic. But he threw that pick 6. Obviously, Kaimi Fairbairn misses that field goal. That
Fairbairn.
20-something yard field goal, which is brutal. Can't really anticipate
Trash.
that. But to even be, I know it's divisional too, but the Texans week after week continue to
After
underperform.
week.
Do you think the Texans win a playoff game?
Yes.
I do.
You do.
They have a really good defense, and I think they'll come to play
think
with
that-
D'Amico at the helm. You know, he controls all the orders.
They're
So
almost guaranteed to get that 4th spot.
Mhm.
Almost
Yeah,
guaranteed,
no,
assuming
they'll be fine.
you know the AFC North winner doesn't drop off or something.
Yeah.
You would assume it would be Chiefs, Bills in whatever order, then the Steelers or Ravens, and then the Texans. So they'd likely play a 5 seed, and that could be the Chargers, that could be the Ravens. I don't know. I think the Texans might be outmatched by
Yeah. I
most
Who do you guys
teams.
think's
I
going to get the
mean-
number 1 seed in the AFC? Like, I think
still
that
think the-
Bills win against the Chiefs is going to bite the Chiefs in the ass.
Yeah, I
Could
mean-
possibly.
Because
I
like
don't-
they could have the same record and.
But we
not
looked at
be-
the Chiefs' schedule a couple weeks ago. I don't know how many losses are left.
I mean, they
there.
have the Chargers twice.
They're probably only gonna have one loss realistically.
The Chargers could both be good games.
They'll
but you're
probably
right,
lose a
yeah.
game that you don't expect. Maybe
Yeah,
they'll lose to like
uh,
Cleveland or somebody
yeah.
that you don't see see
I mean,
coming.
They could lose to Cleveland. Yeah.
Like-
I mean, when it comes to the Bills or the Chiefs, like I'd rather have like the Bills, like the Bills should be the 1 seed, you know. But
Bills still play the,
the Chiefs' schedule is still very weak.
and Bills
so.
still play the Lions. They still play
The
obviously
49ers.
49ers this
It
week.
won't be- yeah.
Depleted 49ers team, but they
Won't
still
be
play the
easy game.
49ers. They play the Rams. That's a sneaky tough game.
Yeah.
So the Bills have a tough schedule. So I would still, if I had to bet, I would say the Chiefs.
And we know who has the NFL's Pookie and who doesn't have him. So.
Yeah, that's true.
That is
So
true.
You know how that's
That's
going
an
to go.
important stat.
Very, very important. Move on to the Thanksgiving slate. An interesting one this year. The Cowboys-Giants sandwiched in the middle there. Obviously, kind of not exciting. It's Cooper Rush versus Drew Lock now, who is supposed to start as of filming this on Wednesday. Let's start, though, with the 12:30 classic game here. Bears at Lions. Classic 12:30 start. Thanksgiving. Getting ready to eat. You're throwing in some last-minute parlays. Me and Zach, every Thanksgiving, is trying to concoct a parlay that'll inevitably make it 2 legs in and lose.
With some college basketball.
Yeah, very fun. Feast week. This spot, Lions minus 9.5. I am pretty high on this game. I really think the Bears are going to keep it close. I think Caleb Williams has really shown great strides. I think the Bears, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they play the Lions tough anyway a lot of times. Even, this Lions team is reaching new heights, but the Bears historically have played the Lions tough. And it's a divisional game on Thanksgiving in front of America. I think the Bears keep it very close. I think the Lions win by 3 or 4 points. So I'm on the Bears plus 9.5. What say you, Zach?
I mean, I don't care about this being like a Thanksgiving game, whatever. I mean, I don't think it matters for the Bears. They're not going to be able to hang with this team. They hung with the Vikings, but I don't know. The Vikings hung very tight with the Lions. I don't know. I mean, I kind of knew that game last week was going to be pretty close, but this game, no, it's not.
The Lions have lost 7 straight on Thanksgiving too. Obviously, they were bad for a while, but
It's a
even the
great
past
stat.
couple, even
It's
the
a great
past
stat.
few years,
This is a different team, though.
I looked back
Different
because
team.
last year everybody
The
missed. The
Packers.
Lions were great against the Packers. It was 7.5. I checked back. We all picked the Packers last year, and the Packers won outright.
Yeah.
7.5 dogs. Not saying
I
that'll happen
remember
this
that.
year.
I remember that.
That was a great
Yeah.
start to Thanksgiving last year. So
I do remember
just throwing
that.
it out. Nate, you're on the Lions, Bears.
Yeah, Lions.
Bears.
Yeah,
Lions. Okay, you're on the Lions.
I'm on the Lions. Even though I do feel like the game could get very close, Caleb Williams with the new OC looked very good. But coming into Detroit, they're probably like looking at that like, all right, let's get this win on Thanksgiving. The Eagles are on our trail. Let's keep winning games. And so there's always that chance this game can get also really ugly too. So, it could be the classic, Jameer Gibbs, 2 touchdowns, 150 yards,
Yeah.
Marlon Ra, if he plays. Yeah.
Eberflus doing something stupid.
Yeah. All that being said, I rather bank on trust the Lions more than the Bears.
I'm pretty much just taking the Bears solely because Caleb's looked better with Thomas Brown as the OC, and I don't know. I think the game's close. I think 9.5 is a lot for a divisional game.
It's
so
coming down. It started at 10.5.
It was at like 11.
11. Yeah,
it was up there.
11?
It's been moved down. Yeah, because Amon-Ra might not play now. Khalif Raymond just got put on the IR, and then there's one more person that might not play, David Montgomery.
Weakest game of the day on paper. 2 teams that will likely not be. I saw somebody said the Cowboys are still alive for the playoffs, which I think is
mathematically
a little crazy. Technically, the Giants are mathematically they're getting close to being eliminated. Anyway, Drew Lock is starting. This is a game I was flip-flopping back and forth with Tommy DeVito starting. I took a very hard stance on Tommy DeVito last week. I said, we've done this before. He is a very bad quarterback, and we saw, the results of that. 30-7, the Bucs killed them. This week I was prepared to take the Cowboys up to 5.5, 6. I would have taken them all the way up to maybe a touchdown if DeVito was starting. My boy Drew Lock is likely getting the start at this point. I love Drew Lock. I don't think he's gonna light it up, but I think it's gonna be a lot more fun watching Drew Lock than Tommy DeVito on Thanksgiving.
That's crazy.
And I think Drew Lock, I have switched over to the Giants plus 3.5 because I think Drew Lock is that much better than Tommy DeVito and Daniel Jones. I think Malik Neighbors, after his comments about Dable and everything, I think this team, they're playing for Dable's job. I don't know if they like Dable or not, clearly, but
You think those comments are going to make them play better?
I think they're going to get Neighbors the ball early and often in this
Can't
game.
sign a new offensive line overnight, brother.
That too. Their offensive line sucks, but Drew Lock has a little mobility. I know Daniel Jones did too, Daniel Jones. No, I think Drew Lock gets the ball out quick to Malik Neighbors early and often. I have him in an anytime touchdown. Malik Neighbors, I love it. Cody, you seem to not love it.
I just don't think the Giants are good. So
they're not good.
I don't think the Cowboys are good either. But the Giants
Should the
have
Cowboys
the 30
try
second.
to lose this game though, just for like?
No, they're not.
They have 4 wins, I think. So it's kind of like too late for that. They shouldn't have beat the Commanders if that was the case. If they were tanking. So
is Drew Lock better than Daniel Jones?
No. Not even close, brother.
Interesting.
Tell me when Drew Lock wins a playoff game, and then we can talk about it.
That's true, Daniel Jones.
Fraudulent.
Kirk Cousins Vikings. Nate, you're on the Giants.
I'm gonna roll the Giants this game. I believe team currently needs I think Drew Lock brings more to the table than DeVito. But based off small New York Giants Seattle. He played a game or 2 last year, right, for you guys?
He did. He beat the Eagles.
So
dropped the dime to JSN.
Yeah, so I don't know, he has a high end receiver in Malik Neighbors. I based off what he did in Seattle, I think he does enough in this game.
This is a gross game. I'm just gonna go with the Cowboys. They showed a lot last week. I feel like this team still has something left in them. CD was pretty productive, so when he's productive, they win games. So I'm just gonna go with that and the Cowboys.
All right, the nightcap. By far the best game of the day. The Dolphins heading up to Lambeau Field. It's going to be cold. It's going to be possibly a wintry mix, I think. That bodes usually historically poorly for Tua. I'm still going to take the Dolphins, though, here, plus 3.5. I know Tua's track record in cold games. Cody has harped on it time and time again, and he's won a lot. Fading Tua in these games. I think we all did last year against the Chiefs in the playoffs, or at least a few of us did. I don't know. The Dolphins in this spot, plus 3.5. I think their offense is finally figuring it out again, getting readjusted. I think Achan's going to be able to run pretty successfully against this Packers defense. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game despite the cold. I'm going to take the Dolphins to maybe lose by a field goal or maybe even shock the Packers on Thanksgiving Eve night.
Go, Pack, go. I feel like this is all Packers. Like CVA said, the Dolphins can't really play in the cold, and that's all I really need here. The Packers are also, I think they're a way more solid team than the Dolphins are this year, so I'm just going to go with the Packers.
Yeah, so guys, imagine the scene right here. Imagine Tua, he's on an island. He's laying back. He's sipping out of a coconut, and then he looks up, and there's a door, a random door on the beach. And he's curious about the door, and then he Then he goes through the door, and then he appears in a winter wonderland, a tundra, and he's an ice cube. So this game,
I'm looking at it.
it's how it's gonna be. He sees the coldness. It doesn't go well for him. He might not be close. The guy,
Nah.
it could get very ugly in this game.
I kind of got an identification of what this game's going to look like after what they just did to the 49ers, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they were at home, like it just they
Sucker
looked like
people.
a well-formed team. Like this
Yeah.
is when Matt LaFleur is like his best. He's
Yeah.
the best at coaching in November and December. His record against the spread in the winter months is legitimately ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
something insane. It's like I think it's like 21 and like 4 or something.
Yeah.
It's insane. So I'm going to take the Packers as well.
I have a little Thanksgiving parlay cooked up here. I don't know if you guys have any props that you like specifically. I have this. Bears plus 9.5. DJ Moore over 54.5 yards. Caleb Williams over 264.5 passing rushing. I have a Neighbors anytime touchdown. I've been, again, Drew Lock playing. I think he'll get the ball early and often. Tyrone Tracy running against a pretty weak Cowboys run defense. I'll say over 63.5. Achane anytime. And then Jordan Love, who should have a decent day passing rushing.
Yeah,
over
I don't see
2.5.
how that doesn't hit. So
Some would call it a lock. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, it could be dead immediately when the Lions kill them and the Bears don't move the ball and all three of those lose. But if it gets past that, I don't know. We'll see. I also wanted to throw this parlay up on the screen because this is a parlay I placed preseason division winner parlay. I want you guys to let me know if you think this is going to hit. It's 5 legs. It's the Ravens to win the division, the Chiefs to win the division, Bills, Texans, and Seahawks all to win the division. 10 for 1,620. Do you guys, if you had to pick this parlay up right now, would you think it will hit right this season?
For sure.
No, for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't know. It's close because like the Steelers division and the Seahawks division are the two.
Right.
Those are, the other three are definitely locks.
yeah.
Yeah.
But those two are the sketchy ones.
Yeah, Ravens are the only team on there right now that aren't currently in first place. And they don't have the tiebreaker as of right now with the Steelers.
That, yeah,
Just want to throw it in 'cause I'm feeling good. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But all right, moving on to our Cover 4 podcast locks. Cody is now all-time leader. He has the crown next to his name. He's 20-10 since the start of last year. All those records from all-time are pretty crazy how close we are and how good those records are, all over 60%. This season, I am the only one kind of not doing my part. I'm 4-7-1. Going to try to get back on the winning side this week, of course. You're hot.
I mean, I feel great. I mean, if I would definitely keep riding me. But yeah, I feel great about my locks, and you should too. I mean, I think I've hit like 5 straight. So
You said it'd be riding you.
yeah.
I forgot who I took for a second.
Cody and Nate are sharing a lock, so let them
Yes.
each talk about theirs first. Cody,
I'll let you go, actually.
Yeah, I mean, all you gotta say is like if
Door.
half the show is picking the same thing, like for the lock segment, then you know it's a lock. Like 2 in the cold doesn't go well. Jordan Love, he's highly motivated. He wants they want to keep momentum. They want to catch the 1 seed potentially, get the Lions. You know, so yeah, no chance. 2 in the cold. No.
I just love LaFleur. I love betting on him in the cold weather. And his team, he coaches them well. I think he's one of the greatest coaches in the NFL currently. So I love him, and I think he coaches them well. Josh Jacobs,
that
another
out of your
touchdowns.
mouth.
Huh?
Get that out of your mouth.
Who?
LaFleur's.
I mean, he's my guy, but like
Here he
Josh
goes.
Jacobs, I think he's got 5 touchdowns last 2 games. Friggin',
Yeah,
he's balling. So
no, I think it's all
they-
Dolphins.
Oh my god.
Dolphins.
Wow. Was that a turkey or was that a dolphin?
That was a dolphin.
Wow.
That sounded like the.
Back your lock this
Yeah, I
week.
feel great about this one. I like the pick that the boys had, but it's just not sharp enough for me.
Well, who's your lock?
Yeah, I'm going with the Bucks here. I mean, yeah, it's really sharp. The Panthers, I'm going off the high-low theory. They're coming off a game where it probably feels like a Super Bowl victory for them. So it's like they're coming
Panthers?
into this game. Yeah.
They lost though.
No, I know, but like they
being
almost beat
competitive.
the
Oh,
Chiefs.
okay.
Being competitive.
But yeah, it probably felt like the Super Bowl, and it felt like they won it. So yeah, I'm going with the high-low theory, like I said before CVA interrupted me. But yeah, the Bucks get this one done. Baker's a dog, we know that, and they'll win by 10 points at least.
I like the Rams. -2.5 in NOLA. I think the Saints off a bye, which is a little scary, but the Rams still have a lot of talent. They were hanging around with the Eagles early in that game. I'm going to go with Roberto Ram at
Roberto
in New
Clemente, shout
Orleans.
out.
I think the Rams roll in and get a much-needed victory to get back in the NFC West race.
Does anyone think Chris
Yeah.
Olave will ever play football again?
I think he'll play again.
You think he'll play again?
I
Probably
think
what
he'll
next
try.
year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of all the
I
Ohio
don't
State
know.
receivers, I had been saying that Olave was not the one that was going to be.
I mean,
No, I think he's nasty.
all the Ohio State receivers all say Jackson Smith and Jigba was the best one. So,
He's nasty.
like even Garrett Wilson
He's so
said that.
good. He's so
He did
good.
say that.
Nah,
Yeah.
Jason, that boy's force.
They all
Garrett's
said he's the
fucking
best one.
nasty,
So.
though.
Yeah. I mean, if Garrett Wilson's saying that though,
I know.
Last week, another very shaky week of start sits. Estime did nothing for me. Quentin Johnston might be the worst pick in the history of this show. No offense, Nate. He had 0 points, dropped so many key critical passes. Lad McConkey had a solid day instead for Zach. That was a good pick. And then Rachaad White had a average day, 11.7. Bucky Irving obviously had the big day, but both of those running backs looking great.
Doggins,
the sits,
you're terrible at this, bro.
Oh yeah,
I
know.
I want to argue that like Malik
know.
Neighbors was a good sit but he did have 12 points.
I have to feed myself.
But Neighbors, I don't know. I thought that he
I
really didn't.
I could
he
use
didn't. He had
12 points in my
That's
fantasy
fair. He
team,
had
so-
0 points in the first half, I believe. 0 catches. Chuba had a decent day. Not a great start or sit for Z, and Jacoby Myers went off. So Nate Dogg had a rough one. Rico Dowdle didn't do much, Cody. This week, I will start. I have this prepped. I really have been just doing on the whim. I like these 2 picks.
It's good. Steve.
Start Will Levis. I've been on Will Levis. He
Oh.
had a great week last week. I think he continues and gets a Washington Commanders secondary that is not superb by any means. I think Will Levis has a pretty solid day. Amari Cooper is my sit. He's coming back. The
He
Bills are getting a
sucks,
lot of
bro.
guys back.
He's
I know
ass.
people are still the name Amari Cooper. They probably want to start him. I would say I want to see a week or 2 before I start him in that crowded wide receiver room.
I'm going to be sitting Brian Thomas Jr. from the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Houston Texans corners, specifically when he's lined up against, what's his name?
Stingley? No.
Derek Stingley, yeah.
Thank
So I love his game. He looks great. I think Stingley's going to be lined up with Brian Thomas a lot. I think he shuts him down, honestly, when they're lined up, of course. So I think he's going to have a rough day. And then for my start, I'm going to stay in the same game. I'm going to go Nico Collins.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Like big day, like 20 or 30 points for him,
Wow.
at least.
Yeah, Nico.
Nate, tell us what you have so we can fade it.
Yeah. Basically, like, me in this segment is like just like go opposite of what I say. So I'm gonna be going with the starting of Mike Evans.
Okay.
I'm going to be sitting Dalton Schultz.
Okay.
I mean, he's only he's walking like
Go safe
2
picks.
to
ass,
5
bro.
points.
We'll
He's
allow it.
ass.
Go safe picks here. Mike
So
Evans.
he's gonna
Yeah,
go-
I need to go safe.
Schultz
so.
is going to go for like 25, then, probably.
Watch it. Yeah,
big,
watch,
big
yeah.
week for Dalton
But yeah,
Schultz
no,
this week.
I was very high on Dalton Schultz the whole year. A lot of best ball drafts, Dalton Schultz is in, and it hasn't panned out that way, even with all the receiver injuries they've had. But I will be.
Jonnu Smith, by the way. I forgot
He's
his
been
name.
cooking. My brother keeps adding him to any time.
16th, 17th round in best ball
He
drafts. This
screwed
guy
me
is a
over.
tight end 1 past 6 weeks. Crazy
Yeah,
steal.
he's tight end 1.
Bro, in the past 6 weeks, yeah, for just like best ball.
every week, bro.
17th round, my guy.
He literally scores every
Think
week.
about that. Isn't that crazy? So next year when we're drafting elite tight end, let it go.
Yeah, nah.
That's a fact.
Let it go, dude.
My sit is going to be DK. Against a tough Jets team, I feel like the Jets will pull this game out somehow. Seahawks just won a
Shocker.
big game, and I don't know. I'm biased against hating the Seahawks just because of how much he. So somebody's got to do it, But I don't think it's a great spot for DK anyways. He's going up against a solid secondary. I don't know what's good with the Jets though, bro. Like I don't know. They got to like
They can't.
they
tackle.
should be decent. For my start, it's gonna be like I'm gonna say Jordan Addison again. He went off last week, and
It's a good one.
he's a solid player. And with Jefferson and now Hawkinson, they gotta worry about those 2 big volume targets. Addison's always open, so
All right, quick overview of this week. Thanksgiving. Me and Cody on the Bears. Zach and Nate on the Lions. Nate and I are riding the Giants and Drew Lock, while Zach and Cody ride the Cowboys. Dolphins. I'm lone wolfing the Dolphins
Why?
despite Nate and Cody making them their lock of the week. Chiefs. I'm lone wolfing the Chiefs. I have a lot of lone wolves this week. I'm lone wolfing the Chiefs against the Raiders, the Patriots against the Colts. Cody's lone wolfing the Jaguars. Everybody's on the Chargers. I'm lone wolfing the Seahawks. Nate is lone wolfing the Steelers. Hey, this is hard to do in real time. Nate is lone wolfing the Commanders. Cody is lone wolfing the Cardinals. Cody also lone wolfed the Cardinals last week against the Seahawks. Ask him how that worked. Buccaneers is Zach's lock, but me and Nate have the Panthers. I'm locking in the Rams. Cody is lone wolfing the Saints.
see how
And then, yeah, we'll see how that goes. That's your revenge right there. I'm lone wolfing the Ravens again. I think I'm like 5-0 when lone wolfing the Ravens. This is a tough spot, though. They're also dominant. Lamar's dominant against the NFC, so we'll see. We're all on the Bills minus 6.5. And I'm lone wolfing the Browns. Cody,
Wait, you're 5-0 with the Ravens.
I pulled that out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure it's at least 3 or 4-0. I can look it up. I'm telling you. That's a fact. That's a
I
fact.
believe it.
I lone wolf
I
the
believe
Ravens
you.
all the time, and they win a lot.
Sounds
so
accurate.
It is.
That's a good stat.
Fact check.
Do you have any stats about me like that?
That you're better than me in locks.
All right,
Let's see. That's a fact.
I'll take that.
Final thought here. Can you power rank these 4 items for me, Cody? Turkey, ham, stuffing, mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes is number 1
Number
for
1?
sure.
Okay.
Very.
But it depends how it's made though. Like if
Who
you
eats
if you
ham
get
on
potato skin
Thanksgiving,
in
bro?
there,
I like
you
it.
want
I
the
like
buttery?
ham.
You like the potato skin?
Oh,
in
yeah.
there?
Say,
I only
you
eat
say
that one.
stuffing?
Yeah.
That's
What's
fine.
another like very common
What's the
one?
most
Stuffing's fine.
underrated Thanksgiving food?
Grandpa's vino.
Yeah, I heard.
Shit's fire, bro.
Fucking
Santo Vineyard, man. Telling you.
corn.
Underrated?
Underrated, yeah, like
Yeah,
under the radar.
Corn's underrated
dish.
as bro.
Like,
Nobody
what do
really
you
fucks
walk in?
with
You what do you?
I mean,
eye?
you might land like corn and peas aren't like that mixture like all cold.
Cold corn and peas.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, you can eat it warm too, but eating it cold's like whatever.
We're gonna be smacking parlays.
Like
Nate Dogg is gonna be
out
eating.
the can, like it's not like hot.
I'm definitely a
It's like,
stuffing guy. I don't
I like
eat
stuffing.
stuffing. I only eat stuffing on Thanksgiving.
I like
it's
stuffing. Underrated dish.
It
Makes
Uh,
you feel better. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
No, I'm
that's
talking about
weird.
Nate
No,
Dogg.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
like,
weird.
you know what I'm saying?
Oh
Yeah, like it ain't that.
That's
That's not
facts.
weird. I don't know.
Nah, definitely not. Like when you eat.
We wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully, all your parlays hit. Ride our locks. Nate will be eating cold corn and peas for Thanksgiving. We will see you in week 14. Let's have a Thanksgiving. Go Hawks.
Gobble,
Let's
gobble,
go.
gobble.
Eating the cold corn and peas while Tua is freezing his ass off.
Cold corn and peas.